Hi, my name is José Cabrera Navarro and I talk about the origins of the game Racquetball. Racquetball is a game that is played in an indoor court with three walls, a rubber ball and a small racket. Though outdoor courts exist, they are rare. It is possible to play solo, doubles, and even when four players, unlike many other sports popular today. Racquetball does not have a long involved history. Rather, it was developed early in the 20th century by combining other popular sports, tennis, handball, squash, and Spanish sport called hayalay. It's crazy. The roots of racquetball may have started in prison in the 18th, when inmates were given balls which they would hit against the walls. During this time, the sport was referred to as rackets in America. The game first appeared in 1920. It was Joseph G. Subek, a professional handball, squash, and tennis player from Greenwich, Connecticut, who has most often been credited with the invention of the game. In 1914, Subek was working in a rubber factory and designed the rubber ball that is used for the sport today. He, along with a partner, also decided to combine the rules of handball and squash and start the rules for racquetball. Now, at the time, as a paddle rackets, paddles, and balls all appeared in different shapes and forms over the years, as the search for the ideal model of each continued. Sobek founded the Paddle Racket Association in 1952 and distributed a set of rules to all YMCA in the United States to help spread the popularity of the sports. By 1969, the game had become so popular worldwide that a man named Robert Kender founded the International Racquetball Association, thereby changing the name of the sport to racquetball. During the same year, the first racquetball official championship was held in St. Louis, Missouri. It was also during this time that sport goods stores began manufacturing official racquetball gear for the sports. Popularity of the sport grew as more athletes came to notice its highest intensity, giving them a great workout and building up speed while playing. Sport clubs and country clubs throughout the United States picked up on the enthusiasm of sports and started building racquetball courts in their clubs. In the 1918, the popularity of this sport started to fall. Many clubs tore down their racquetball courts. However, there were still many loyal racquetball players who developed themselves to the sport and kept the spirit of the game alive, even with the decline of its popularity. Today, there are still well over 10 million people worldwide that compete in sports since 1981. There is a World Championship that is held annually, and in 1995, the International Olympic Committee approved it as a Pan-American Games sport. Racquetball was a part of the USA Olympic Festival with the hopes of one day being a part of the real Olympics. It is known as the youngest sport ever to be noticed by the United States Olympic Committee. Today, the 20 million racquetball players are spread out in over 90 countries all over the world. Presently, racquetball is more or less established, yet the rules for racquetball can vary by country or region. For example, in Australia, the racquetball court is played in a standard international squash court, which is 32 feet for 21 feet. American plays in a 14-20 court. The Australians also follow the rules where if the ball touches the setting, the ball is considered to be out. In American rules, this is a valid play. The Australian rules are from the Victorian Racquetball Federation. Racquetball is a great sport today.
The origins of the game of racquetball. Racquetball is a game that is played in an indoor court with two balls, a rubber ball, and a small racket. It is possible to play alone, doubles, and even with four players. Unlike many other sports popular today, racquetball doesn't have a long and immediate history. Rather, it was developed early in the 20th century by community. Other popular sports are tennis, handball, squash, and a Spanish sport called J-tail. The roots of racquetball may have started in prison in the 1800s, when inmates were given balls which they would hit against the walls. During this time, the sport was referred to as rackets. In America, the game first appeared in the 1820s.
The origins of the games of the racquetball. Racquetball is a game that is played in a door court with the three walls, a rubber wall, and a small racket. So on the door court system, they are rare. It is possible to play solo, doubles, and even with four players. Unlike many other sports popular today, racquetball does not have a long and involved history. Rather, it was developed early in the 20th century. We combined other popular sports, tennis, handball, squash, and the Spanish sport called kai alike. The roots of the racquetball may have started in the prison in the 1800s when inmates were used. During this time, the sport was referred to as the racket. In America, the game first appeared in 1820. It was chosen as a professional handball, squash, and tennis player from Greenwich, who was most often be credited with the invention of the game. In 1840, so Wake was a work in a rubber factory and designed the rule book that you use for the sport today. He, along with a partner, also decided to combine the rules of the handball and the squash and start the rules for the racquetball. I know at the time the father rackets, father's racquetball was a part of the USA Olympic Festival with the hopes of the one day being a part of the real Olympic. It is known as the youngest sport ever to be noticed by the United States Olympic Committee. Today, the 20 million racket players are spread in over 95 countries over the world.
The racquetball is a game played on an indoor court with three walls, a rubber ball, and a small racket. It's possible to play alone, double, and I think even with four players. Unlike many other sports popular today, racquetball doesn't have a long involved history. Rather, it was developed early in the 20th century by combining other popular sports like tennis, handball, squash, and a Spanish sport that I don't remember the name. The roots of racquetball may stay in a prison, and I don't remember the year. The origins of the game of racquetball. Racquetball is a game that is played in an indoor court with two balls, a rubber ball, and a small racket. It is possible to play play alone, doubles, and even with four players. Unlike many other sports popular today, racquetball doesn't have a long and involved history. Rather, it was developed early in the 20th century by community. Other popular sports are tennis, handball, squash, and Spanish. Sport called game day. The rules of racquetball may have started in prison in the 1800s when inmates were given balls which they would hit against the walls. During this time, the sport was referred to as rackets. In America, the game first appeared in the 1820s. The racquetball is a game that played in an indoor court with three balls, a rubber ball, and a small racket. It is possible to play alone, doubles, and even four players. Unlike many other sports popular today, racquetball doesn't have a long and involved history. Rather, it is developed early in the 20th century by combining other popular sports like tennis, handball, squash, and Spanish sport called hard alike. The roots of the racquetball may start in a prison like in 1800s, when its men were given balls which they would hit against in the walls. During this time, the sport was referred to as racket. In America, the game first appeared in 1820.